Alle jer tilsamlet hængelige. Alle jer tilsamlet hængelige. Alle jer tilsamlet hængelige. Alle jer til Sri Guranga. Alle jer til Sri Prabhupada. Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Bhutale. Srimati Bhaktananda Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine. Nirvishesha Shunyavadvasikachari Shatarine. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasa Chodayam Mudire Nastapresha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam,
which is our very means of conquest,
let us offer our respectful obeisances
let us offer our respectful
to the
obeisances
Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana,
unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana,
unto Nara Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being,
unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being,
unto the goddess of learning Mother Saraswati,
unto the goddess of learning Mother Saraswati,
and unto the order Srila Vyasadeva,
and unto the altar of Srila Vyasadeva,
by regularly attending lectures on the Srimad Bhagavatam,
by regularly attending lectures on the Srimad Bhagavatam,
and by serving the pure devotee,
and by serving the pure devotee,
all that is troublesome to the heart,
all that is troublesome to the
is
heart
almost completely destroyed,
is almost completely destroyed,
and loving devotional service
and loving devotional service
to the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
to the Supreme Personality of
who
Godhead,
is praised in transcendental slokas,
who is praised in transcendental
is
slokas,
established as an irrevocable fact.
that established in an irrevocable fact.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Taking shelter from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 9, the appearance of the demon Vritrasura, text 48. Kim Durapam Mayi Vrite Thapi Viputtarishava Mayi Kanta Mati Nanya Mataha Vanchati Tattvavid Kim Durapam Mayi Vrite Thapi Viputtarishava Mayi Kanta Mati Nanyam Mato Vanchati Tattvavid Kim Durapam Mayi Prite Thapi Viputtarishava Mayi Kanta Mati Nanyam Mato Vanchati Tattvavid Kim Durapam Mayi Prite Thapi Viputtarishava Mayi Kanta Mati Nanyam Mato Vanchati Tattvavid
Kim Durapam Mayi Prite Thapi Viputtarishava Mayi Kanta Mati Nanyam Mato Vanchati Tattvavid Kim durapam mai prite Tathapi vibhudarshaba Mai ekantamatiirnanyan Mato vanchati tattvavit
Kim durapam mai prite Tathapi vibhudarshaba Maye kantamatiirnanyan Mato vanchati tattvavit
Kim. What? Durapam. Difficult to obtain. Mai. When I. Prite. Satisfied. Tathapi. Still. Vibhudarishaba. O best of the intelligent demigods. Mai. In me. Ekanta. Exclusively fixed. Mati. Whose attention. Na anya. Not anything other. Mata. Than me. Manchati. Desires. Tattvavit. One who knows the truth. Translation. O best of the demigods. O best of the intelligent demigods. Although it is true that nothing is difficult for one to obtain when I am pleased with him, a pure devotee whose mind is exclusively fixed on me does not ask me for anything but the opportunity to engage in devotional service. Purport. When the demigods finished offering their prayers, they anxiously waited for their enemy Vritrasura to be killed. This means that the demigods are not pure devotees. Although without difficulty one can get anything he desires if the Lord is pleased, the demigods aspire for material profit by pleasing the Lord. The Lord wanted the demigods to pray for unalloyed devotional service, but instead they prayed for an opportunity to kill their enemy. This is the difference between a pure devotee and a devotee on the material platform. Indirectly, the Lord regretted that the demigods did not ask for pure devotional service. Namo Vishnu Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswata Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavada Pastyachare Shatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare. Kim durabham mai prite tathapi vibhudarshava mai kantamatiranyan mato vanchati tattvavit. O best of the intelligent demigods, although it is true that nothing is difficult for one to obtain when I am pleased with him, a pure devotee whose mind is exclusively fixed upon me does not ask me for anything but the opportunity to engage in devotional service. So we hear here about, vi hører her om ren hengivende tjeneste. So we hear about Uttama Bhakti, pure devotional service, is what we should strive for. This is what Krishna is saying here to the demigods. So Prabhupada mentioned here that the demigods are not pure devotees. Why? Because they ask for something. They have an agenda. They need something. We heard some days before also the 4 people coming to Krishna consciousness. They are Kanishta-adhikaris. They are Gajendra is a Kanishta-adhikari, Dhruva Maharaj was a Kanishta-adhikari, sages of Naimisharanya, and ultimately Sukadeva Goswami. So they are Kanishta-adhikaris because they have an agenda. They are asking for something. But they did not remain Kanishta-adhikaris. Because by using the process, like here the demigods, Kama Mishra Bhaktas, they are still engaged in devotional service. It's not pure unaligned devotional service, but nonetheless devotional service. So by performing devotional service, they will gradually become purified. And that will lead to pure unaligned devotional service. So that is the power of the movement we are part of. This is the power of Vaidhi Bhakti. That you perform something, like in this case we are chanting, we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, we are performing some menial devotional service. By this process, Anatali Vritti goes on. Gradually, our heart becomes purified. So our duty is just to follow the process as best as we can, and then try to avoid to contaminate our heart. Prabhupada gives the example of an elephant taking a bath, and he goes up and he throws dirt over himself again. So this is often what happens when we perform devotional service. We are performing so many austerities, Tapodhyam, but nonetheless we are performing so many austerities, following the 4 regulatory principles, huge austerity. In Kali Yuga this is practically inhuman, superhuman, let's put it like that. It's practically superhuman to be able to do that. Sitting down 2 hours every morning with concentration to chant Hare Krishna is practically superhuman in Kali Yuga. It's very difficult. And we see that we can't. It's very difficult to control the mind. But just doing the process, Krishna sees, at least he's trying. He's not so elevated yet, but at least he's trying. So let me help him. But if we don't have that desire, if you're not really aimed at trying at least to chant good rounds, if you're not really trying at least to follow the 4 regulatory principles, if you're not at least trying to just become a completely surrendered soul, Krishna will not give it. The process will still work, we will still make advancement, but we will not get the higher levels of bhakti, we will not reach them before we have an intense desire to achieve it. That's what Krishna is waiting for. That's what we hear of Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj is a good example actually, because he was offering these beautiful prayers. First he was Kanishta-adhikari. It was one of them. He was in distress. No, he wanted wealth. So Gajendra was in distress. He wanted wealth. He wanted a kingdom bigger than his father's. So he went to the forest on the advice of his mother, Suruchi. He went to the forest, and there he engaged in devotional service. So he was performing these huge austerities. What was it? The first month, every 3 days, he would eat some fruits and berries. Next month, every 6th day, he would eat some dry leaves and some grass or whatever he could find. Next month, every 12th day, he would take 1 breath. And by this, all the universe suffocated. Demigods went to Brahma and prayed, hey, what's happening here? And Brahma went, I don't know, let's go to Vishnu. They were praying, please help us, we are suffocating. And then Dhruva Maharaj, next day or after, because he became so powerful, he was standing on 1 leg, completely unmovable, just standing there, in completely absorbed in meditation. And then Krishna appeared. He was completely absorbed in meditation. Krishna was in his mind. And then all of a sudden he disappeared. And Dhruva Maharaj, he opened his eyes and there he stood, just in front of him. He came on Garuda, stood just in front of him. So what did Dhruva Maharaj do? This is a trick question.
He couldn't do much, isn't it? He couldn't say anything.
Exactly. Very good. He didn't do much. He was just standing there, completely mesmerized. Right? Because all of a sudden Vishnu is standing in front of him, so he didn't do anything. And what did Krishna do? Touch him with his conscience. And immediately Dhruva Maharaj became empowered. So that's our condition. We are not capable of offering beautiful prayers. We are not capable of performing pure devotional service. But when Krishna sees we are eager, Dhruva Maharaj was very eager, he performed all these austerities, very much austerity. And then Krishna said, okay, I'll give it to you. Same with Prahlad Maharaj. Nishingadev, the first thing he did, putting his hand on the head of Prahlad. So then Prahlad Maharaj, he just became, wow. And he just started speaking these beautiful prayers. So these prayers, actually we should learn them, memorize them, maybe not all of them, but we should memorize some of these verses, because that's the best way to pray. If we concoct our own prayers, we are in danger, because we are materially contaminated. We are contaminated. We know we cannot trust our mind, and our intelligence is not so strong. So we can very easily, it can be very easy to either just out of not with a bad intention, but we can very easily get into some rasavasa that is not really pleasing to Krishna. Or we will often just ask, please give me this. And this is what Krishna, we can imagine, right? Imagine being a very rich person. But every day, so many people come to him, can you please give me this, can you please give me this? Always like praying at his lotus feet, right? Laying down, please give me this. So what kind of relationship is that? Even if we hear with friends, some person he wins millions, or today I think it's 60 millions or 100 millions in lotto, or can win so much money. I heard once in a lecture that one person, he was interviewed, that was actually an actor. And he said, now you're so famous, you became so famous and you're so rich now. So do you still see your old friends? And he said, no, how can I? Right? Because immediately they will always just ask me for something. So even if they are not, right, but one will always have this, maybe they are just doing this for me because they want to get something from me. So that's Krishna's position. And he's not even doubting, he can see it, he knows our heart exactly what is there in our heart when we offer our prayers. So that's why we should train ourselves to offer prayers with no motive. No motive. The first part of prayer is just glorification of Krishna. There's a science to how we pray, there's a method. So first just offering prayers, glorifying Krishna. And then one is asking for benediction. So this can seem contradictory. We should not ask for anything, but then we should ask for something. That's the same. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Nadaram Natyanamna Sundarim Kavitam Vadya Kadisa. I don't want anything, he says. But then he says, but I do want something. Mama Janmani Ishvare Bhavata Bhakti Ahaitaki. Top 3. Janmani Ishvare, oh Lord, birth after birth, Bhavata Bhakti Ahaitaki. Please engage me in Ahaitaki Bhakti. Please give me the facility to just serve you purely. That's the prayer of devotee. Actually interesting is the first prayer Prahlad Maharaj asked. What is that? What does Prahlad Maharaj ask when Nishingadev forces him to ask for benediction? You will be wrong, but let's try it.
Okay. Well, it's not that he asks for liberation from Hiranyakashipu.
No, that's the second.
Oh.
Asks for the welfare of all living beings?
No, he does that also.
Don't tempt me with these material things so I can feel benediction.
Yeah. He actually says, please allow me to get rid of all these material desires. Later he says, I think this is the prayer you think was similar. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Mamam pralopa yopyacha shaktam kamesa taivarai. Tatsango beta nirvino momuksus tram pasritaha. That my dear Lord, please do not allure me. Mamam pralopa. Please do not allure me with all these temptations, because I'm already weak. For God's sake, I was born in an atheistic family. So please do not tempt me anymore with all these material benedictions. Mamam pralopa yopyacha saktam kamesu taivarai. Tat sanganito nirvino momuksus tram pasritaha. The only thing I'm asking for is please liberate me from all these material desires and give me the shelter of your lotus feet. This is my only desire. So this is the prayers of the pure devotees. They're just asking, please give me the ability to serve you properly. And how beautiful is that? Again, if you take persons like all this, there's always a motive in the material world. Always a motive. And all activities every single person out there is doing, there's always a motive. Constantly a selfish motive. Constant. Every activity. From they get up early in the morning till they go to bed late at night. Everything they do is selfish motives. So how beautiful is it when a person is able to give that up? I don't want anything in return. I don't want anything. And that's again what we hear of these great devotees. We speak about Maharaj Ambarish, we speak about Prahlad Maharaj, we speak about Dhruva Maharaj, we speak about Kolavitya Sridhar. All these great personalities, no material desires. Don't give me anything. When Kolavitya Sridhar, he was asked by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please ask a benediction, I want to give you something. He said, please let me take birth again and have this relationship with you. So that's naturally, that completely wins the heart of Krishna. So Krishna, that's why he says, that I reciprocate accordingly. Not because Krishna wanted. Krishna is Atmanam. Atmanam is Tuman. Atmanam, how is this? Atmanam is Chamunayo. Nyagnanda Apyurukuni. Kurvantya Haitakim Bhakti. Ityabuto Gunari. That Krishna, he is so fantastic that all these great persons, all the liberated persons, their only desire in life is simply to serve him and offer prayers to him. They have no other desire. So fantastic is the Gunahari, the qualities of Krishna. That all these liberated persons, the only thing they want to do is just serve him. That's the proof he's God. Because ultimately, also, as we said, whenever we see in the material world, everybody's also constantly in it, what's in it for me? Constantly thinking, what's in it for me? What will I gain from this? How will I benefit from doing this activity? So that's why Krishna says to the devotees, Napariyaham, that I cannot repay you for your service, because you don't want anything. So everybody else approaches me, give me this, give me this, give me this, give me this. But you have broken that paradigm. You have only one desire, and that's to please me. And that I cannot repay. So please, make the devotional service, take the devotional service, and that will be your payment. That will be your price. So what does that mean? If we really contemplate, right? We hear all these beautiful prayers, but they're very deep. They're very deep, because ultimately, again, they're inspired by Krishna. Krishna touching the heart or the head of the devotee. So all these prayers we have in Bhagavatam, ultimately inspired by Krishna. So it's Krishna speaking in that through his devotee. Teaching us how to follow in their footsteps, pray with no motives. And that's really the method of bhakti. Haitaki abhakti-yata. That if we really want to reach the higher stages of bhakti, it has to be haitaki abhakti-yata. Cannot have any motive, and it has to be unending. It has to be continuous. Because if it's not continuous, it's not unmotivated. So we see so often, we can see it in ourselves and we can see it in all the other devotees. And we have so many other things going on in our mind. Listen when we speak, or when we hear other devotees speak, what are they speaking about? Is it about Krishna, or is it about something maybe out there in the distance connected to Krishna, but it's still the material kata? Still the material kata, keeping us in this consciousness. So again, the process is working. We are constantly purifying our consciousness, but we are constantly making it dirty again. Because we are constantly hearing, we are absorbing ourselves in this material world. Not really practicing to really, I need to be Krishna conscious in this second. Right now, I need to be Krishna conscious. That is how we should live our life. We cannot allow Maya sometimes to be there and sometimes be Krishna conscious. It won't work. It simply will not happen. Krishna is looking for pure devotional service. That's the only thing that really can give us liberation. As Prahlad Maharaj is praying for liberation. That's the kind of liberation Prahlad Maharaj. Please liberate me from all my material desires. Please allow me, even though I'm so contaminated, I'm so full of faults, I'm so I'm so disgusted. This is how the devotee see himself. I'm the lowest of the lowest, but please allow me just to serve you. Please take away these material desires, so that I can actually serve you with a pure heart. Because that's the only way to serve Krishna. That's why Prabhupada mentioned the famous Brahmabhuta verse, Brahmabhuta Prasanatma. There Prabhupada says that's where devotional service starts. When we are on the Brahmabhuta platform, that's where we really start performing devotional service. So now we are practicing, getting to that level. But unless we are unless we are fully dedicated to reaching that, it will not happen. So what does it mean it will not happen? Because we said the process works. But it will only happen when we get to that kind of sincerity. So it's completely up to us when we reach that point. When we actually start to follow the Bhagavad culture. When we actually start living as a Vaishnava, as Krishna wants us to live. If we are still having the same slang, we are still acting in the same way we used to do in the material world, we are not really changing anything. The heart is still dirty, and we're still seeing the link between what we used to be and the link what we are now. So that's why we should completely give it up. Everything we had before, we should give up this strange language they have out there. Right? Giving up this lack of culture, where you just speak to another person as he is your servant. Or he's just some stupid person you just want to exploit. That's why we have the whole culture of Prabhu. Whenever we approach a devotee, we approach him with Prabhu. Especially one who's older than us, but actually all devotees. So if we haven't even learned that culture, we haven't really started devotional service. The change in the heart is not really that big. Right? There's not such a big change of heart. Because we haven't learned ABC. If we haven't learned, like we need to respect the devotees, we need to respect the ecumenical culture, we need to respect the Vaishnava culture. Then we can go on following the process, but we will stay. We will stay in anarchy. So we'll never reach this, we'll never get out of that point where